stop pestering my mother. His manipulative ways are going to send her to the hospital. I want him to grow up and get a life.
My sister wants to drive me and my mother apart, and she doesn't understand my bond with my mother.
He needs to get a life and get out of ours.
You know what the problem is? My sister is just jealous, because I've always been our mom's favorite.
I know Dr. Polo will see my side when she hears everything that my brother has done to my mother, and my mother will also see what a mama's boy my brother actually is.
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Ana Polo Rules. I'm a bit concerned about this case because I get the feeling that you are seeking a relief for somebody who's your mother who really does not want this kind of relief. Is that part of what's going on?
She could say that she doesn't want this kind of relief, but she's in a point right now where she has been taking a lot of medication. She's gotten into the doctor's office a lot because of his harassment. She can't sleep. So I feel like sometimes she doesn't know what she wants or what's good for her. And she's blinded by the fact that she's been taking care of him her entire life. And now he's only taking advantage of her. So I want to save her from him because I feel like she's going to end up in the hospital or worse.
Okay, so you think that this is in your mother's best interest,
Yes.
although she may not see it all the time?
Yes.
All right. Now, has your mother been declared incompetent? Is she having any competency issues, mental issues, memory, dementia, any of this?
No, not by the doctors. Her biggest problem is anxiety. She has
Okay.
anxiety and she's worried all the time. And she's stressed and it's his fault.
All right. Now I need to know the details because it seems to me that your brother is like not a baby anymore.
That's true.
Right? How old are you?
I'm 53.
53 years old. When you tell me that she's been taking care of him all her life, what do you mean by that specifically?
When he was little, he suffered from liver disease, and so he's been sick a lot. And even in his adult life, he's
take
needed
care
to be taken care of. So she has always felt like she needed to be there to like reach out to him and everything. But now it's becoming codependency where they can't stop talking to each other on the phone 20, 30 times, calls in the middle of the night just to find out, how are you? How are you? Is it okay? Are you okay? You know, and that kind of
But is he going
mothering.
through a crisis at this
No,
point? Is he going through
he's,
I am.
No, he's not
I
going
am.
through a crisis. Can I talk?
I am.
No, wait a minute. Wait till she finishes, and then you'll have your chance to explain.
There's ways that he can get help that does not have to be this poor woman suffering every single day and night and hour and wondering and how he's doing. And I'm just trying to save her from him.
All right. Besides the calling, the nagging, the constant worrying, the hyper attention that she's giving him, is there anything else? 'Cause I know
Money.
I read something about money.
Yes, absolutely. The financial situation is ridiculous. He was in charge of her finances after our father passed away.
Why? By her choice?
I'm sure it was by her choice. He ended up living with her, and it was something that they worked out together.
Yes.
My father passed away, and so he took over the estate, and he took care of the funeral arrangements and everything, but then he stayed there, and he was living there. And he opened credit cards under her name, and now I have up to $26,000 of debt that she has no idea where it came from. We would receive mail at home. I have her living with me now, and I would ask her, Mom, what is this for? What is this for?
And
she's
she
like,
didn't know.
I don't know. Ask your brother. So
Okay, but $26,000 is a lot of money. In other words, he's using her name, her financial information, her social security to procure these credit cards, and then he uses it to charge for things that he keeps.
Right.
That are not benefiting your mother.
Correct.
Okay. Tell me about yourself. You're a 53-year-old man. You've had some health issues that are serious.
Very serious.
Are you employed?
I work from time to time. I'm a handyman, mainly in plumbing, so I take work as it comes. It's been very difficult lately because of my sickness. Like, you know.
Do you live with your mother?
No, I used to. Now I live in an efficiency down the way, a couple blocks away.
From your mother?
From their house.
he moved there so he could
you're
come over.
living with your mother.
I'm living with my mother. After I saw what was going on. I sold my mom's house, and she moved in with us so
She
that I
took the
could take
money
care of her.
for that.
Okay,
but-
so your mother's living with you.
Yes.
It's not that you're living with her. And what did you do with the proceeds from the sale of the home?
We bought a house that would fit all of us. I have 2 kids and my husband and now my mother, so we didn't have space for everybody, and I knew that I was going to be taking care of her because I needed to do something to help her. So I moved her into our house.
A
to
house that she bought.
That she bought, yes. But we're, you know, I mean, but it's not a lavish. We didn't use it like it's not
No, I
luxurious.
understand.
It's a you know
It's
an
a modest
economical
home.
modest home.
Okay. All right. And then you're living in an efficiency close to where they live.
Yeah, I need to see my mother.
He needs to see his mother.
Do you have a partner? Do you have a
I have
wife, a girlfriend?
My wife died 9 years ago of cancer, so I've been by myself. I have a son, but he works all the time. He's always working.
He's
He
an
works
adult.
Yes, he's 32.
Okay.
He's always working. He's been working he works in insurance, so he's
He doesn't
always
talk
busy.
to you because you took money from him. He doesn't
That's
talk
not
to
true.
him.
That's not true.
Yes.
That's not true.
Do you have a relationship with your son?
I don't talk to him as frequently as I can because he's just always very busy.
He doesn't want to talk to him.
He's
he
always
doesn't.
very
He talks
busy.
to me. His
He's
son
a-
talks
Did
to
you
me.
take money from your son?
I don't.
Did you ask for a loan?
I borrowed money from my son.
And
when,
did
when
you
I needed
repay it?
I mean, I haven't been able to yet.
How much did you take from your son?
I mean, I've only borrowed a couple of $1,000s from him just to help me get through. I don't want to trouble him.
Did you open credit cards with your mother's name and financial information in which you used?
I did use. My mom did get credit cards, okay, and I was able to use them.
This is not, the question is not your mother got credit cards. My question was whether you used your mother's financial information to acquire credit cards, which you later used.
I didn't. My mom signed all the information.
Well, I understand
I mean,
that
I explained to her.
mothers sign a lot of things that their kids just put in front of them. I mean, this is a trust issue.
Doctor, with all due respect, I'm not here to. I would not hurt my mother.
I'm going to take a break, and when we return, I want to meet your mother.
I'm 75 years old.
And you haven't slept. You haven't had a good night's sleep in over a year.
We don't
because
know
he's-
what goes on in
Because
that
you're
house.
fighting. You're fighting all the time.
Okay, all right. Oh, Audrey. You know, I don't understand this dependency, this Peter Pan complex that you have. I'm not saying you hurt her intentionally. I am just asking if you went ahead and used credit cards in your mother's name for articles that were for you.
I didn't buy any. I live in a 1-bedroom little place. I don't buy anything for me.
It's
I
a
use
yes
it.
or no.
I just use it to
Yes.
pay. I can't pay for some of the medical bills that I have right now. It's very expensive. I
So
don't
all
have
this
insurance.
$26,000 in the credit cards are medical bills?
Well, most of it probably is attributed to that, but not all of it. I mean, some of it is used. I bought her stuff. I sometimes I have to buy her food
Do you
when
have
I was
receipts?
living
Do you
with
have,
her.
do you have evidence to like?
Who keeps food receipts?
Dr. Polo, he is the most disorganized person I know.
She is just trying to break us up. She has been jealous
Why
of
would she
what
do
we've done.
this? I mean,
because
why
she's
would you want-
jealous.
jealous
She's
of
jealous.
what?
She's jealous of the fact that my mother loves me more.
How can a mother love you more? Mothers love their children all the same. They may like certain children better than the other. They may feel pity for a child more than from the other one because of health issues. It seems to me that we're missing a very important part of this case. And I'll tell you who it is. It's Mom. Shouldn't she be here with us, talking about what's going on, how she really feels, what she really wants? Because at the end, otherwise, this is an academic exercise. You're asking for something that your mother may say to me, I don't want that. I don't want to be separated from him, and I don't mind having the anxiety I'm going through as long as I can help my son.
And that's if she hasn't drugged her.
So,
I
you know,
am not drugging our mother.
that's a pretty serious accusation.
I mean, she did
And
meet
let me
these
tell you,
before.
I mean, pretty serious accusation. And she's already made an accusation to you that is quite serious as well. Because if you're getting credit cards with your mother's financial information without her really knowing, I mean, that's like identity fraud.
She's known everything that she signed. She knows.
Okay, let's bring Mother in, please. Mrs. Audrey, I would like you to stand next to your son, Oscar. Mrs. Audrey, how are you?
This has got to be the saddest day of my life. To see my children arguing like this and here.
But they're arguing for you, for your love, for your well-being, for your benefit. And we need to decipher it so that you don't suffer anymore. I can see that this is affecting you. I have a couple of questions that I need you to answer. Do you have a preference for Oscar over Carla?
Oh, I don't think any mother prefers one child over another. This is the problem, is that Oscar has always been a very delicate child since he was born.
Okay.
He was born with liver problems. He's had, I don't know how many times he had the flu and I had to take him to the hospital. He's had meningitis. He's had pneumonia. I have to take care of my son. That's my responsibility.
If you can no longer be here on this earth, how can you even take care of him?
Well, Audrey. I understand that you will always be his mother and he will always be your baby. But when this starts affecting your life, your health, your well-being, I mean, there comes a point where you have to say, what am I doing? Am I helping or am I empowering him not to fend for himself, not to help himself?
I don't see that. I don't see that.
Okay, so here's my next question. Apparently, there's a $26,000 accumulation in your credit cards. Did you incur these expenses?
No.
No.
But I gave my son permission to do whatever he had to do to take care of himself and me. And
But he hasn't taken care of you, Mom. I am paying those bills now. Now you live with me, and now I have to take this on because of him.
No, but wait a minute. I don't know why you're paying for these bills.
I need to fix this. This is under her
No, but
name.
wait a minute. Listen to me. Your mother's competent. If she's authorizing him to make these expenses, which she knows may end up in her bankruptcy, you may have to declare bankruptcy. We're going to take a short break. When we return, we're going to have an expert who's a clinical psychologist who's going to help us decipher these issues. All right? We'll be right back. Right here where you see me, I'm a breast cancer survivor. And I go through a lot. And I wouldn't dare to ask my 89-year-old mother for anything at this point. If you're unable to pay for these bills, you may have to end up filing for bankruptcy, which is your constitutional right, by the way, to do. But a lot of people feel responsible and say, wait a minute, I'm not going to spend more than I make. This is affecting your health, Audrey. Do you see it?
Well, it could be other things too. It doesn't have to be this. It's everybody gets sick. I'm 75 years old.
And you haven't slept. You haven't had a good night's sleep in over a year.
We don't
because
know
he's-
what goes on in
Because
that
you're
house.
fighting. You're fighting
what
all the
goes on.
time.
Okay, all right. Audrey, what do you want her to do? Just accept everything? Just look for your bankruptcy attorney? I mean, once you file for bankruptcy, you may not get credit after 10 years, and then things are going to be very difficult.
He's sick, doctor. He can't work. He
Okay,
has no
well,
insurance.
let's take this to the ultimate
his
question.
mom.
Let's take this to the ultimate question then. What's going to happen when you're gone? I mean, this is a reality of life. Who is going to help him when you're gone?
I hope, Carla.
And it really is a very sad situation because it really destroys families instead of bringing them together. We're going to bring in Dr. Peggy Muselier, who's going to enlighten us in some of these issues and these family conflicts. How many years have you been practicing as a clinical psychologist?
12 years.
12 years. Yeah. Could you identify what you see here as the problem?
Well, there are definitely multiple layers, but a lot of what I see, and I say this very sensitively, is an issue of codependency, of a sort of a mutual attachment, and difficulties really that span very far back developmentally with separation and individuation psychologically. So from the time this gentleman was an infant, he was sickly, and I suspect the mother, whether consciously or subconsciously, felt a lot of guilt, a lot of extra responsibility in protecting this child. And unfortunately, along the way, he never really developed a sense of autonomy and competence as an adult.
What does all this
So-
mean?
What do you mean? What does you don't understand what it means?
What default position? What? I'm taking care of my son.
Well, because he is now an adult, he's in many ways incapable of taking care of himself, or at least he believes he is, because he's always had you to fall back on instead of learning. It seems he never fully learned to separate enough in order for the two of you to develop a more appropriate and mature relationship over time as adult mother and son.
Audrey, I am torn to see the conflict in your family. But you know what hurts me the most? The sadness in your eyes. I'm going to take a break. When we return, I want to talk to you, see what your feeling is about it. We'll be right back. I think you really should be ashamed of yourself at this point. Really? Stop putting that little puppy face. Because I'm not, I'm not your mother. Do you think that he's using his health issues as an excuse to take over his life and say, enough is enough. My mother's getting older, she's frail, and it's time for me to face my situation because she's not going to be around forever.
Yeah, that is very true. And you're raising another excellent point, which is that because the medical complications and problems are real and they've been there historically, he still, in some ways, falls back to behaving like an infant, like a child. And
He's
I know
not a child.
it is very painful.
He's not a child, but he's acting like one.
His child is more a man than he is.
He's acting like one, Audrey. And he's not. He's a 53-year-old man. Unconditional love is a wonderful thing, but not when it is conditioned upon a hardship to you. I can tell you're suffering. I can tell you're suffering. And I know you're suffering because I know that you know in your deepest part of your brain that something here is not right. I know that as we get older, what we want is for our children to be independent, to be autonomous, to be self-sufficient, and to do what they need to do. And you're empowering him to be dependent on you all the time. And that's not good. That is not good, Oscar. Stop playing the game with your mother. You need to sit down. Is there a chair? Can somebody get me a chair? Listen to me. It's debilitating. It's debilitating her. I know a lot of people with your condition, and they're hard workers.
Thank you.
And they survive, and they have the desire and the willingness, and they move on. And they stop depending upon their parents. I think you really should be ashamed of yourself at this point. Really, stop putting that little puppy face, because I'm not your mother. And I'm compassionate, and I'm empathic, and I'm a breast cancer survivor. Right here where you see me. And I go through a lot. And I've been through a lot. And I wouldn't dare to ask my 89-year-old mother for anything at this point. I would just do anything that I had to do to survive without her, except to give her my love. That would be the only thing. So, I don't know, but you gotta start taking some responsibility for yourself and for your life. And I'm ready to rule. And I don't want you to be offended. I want you to think that what I'm doing is for the best interest of your family. You deserve it. You've done a good job in your life as a mother and as a person. You don't deserve any of this.
No.
Oscar, you're going to go to one of these companies that helps you pay out credit cards. They'll figure out a plan for you, And for a small monthly fee, you're going to start paying the $26,000 which you accumulated in your mother's credit cards so that we can prevent her bankruptcy. All right? Number 2, I prohibit you from using her financial information to get any other credit cards. If you do that, I will ask your sister to call the cops and charge you with identity theft, because that's in fact what you're doing. Your mother really had no knowledge. When she said that she gave you permission, she's doing it only to cover up for you, and you have to have some dignity. Number 3, stop calling her 30 times a day, all right? You're making her nervous.
I'm helping her.
You're making her
worried.
nervous. 30 calls a day, that's harassment, even when you call your mother. Number 4, I want you to start dating. Go out in the world and date. Number 5, get a steady job and stop harassing your mother. I want you guys to get some therapy from a psychologist, especially Mom and you. I want you guys to really see these issues and understand them so that you can stop them, all right? Enough is enough. You're harming your mother. She's not harming you, but you are harming her. And this is how I rule.